All right. Hey, Inner Circle. I'm here with the man, the myth, and the legend, Mr. Jay Doran. We're going to review just kind of what went on between his interview with Brian and himself, and maybe a couple call to actions that we had planned out here. So, Jay, I'm going to take a little bit of your thunder here before we get started. I had already sent this here, but it was kind of a quote, but I just saw it yesterday. I know I sent it to you. It says, "Opportunity lurks where responsibility has been abdicated." I saw that, sent it to you because I'm like, this is what I think in a nutshell, what you're trying to do is like, how do we help folks take responsibility uh, for themselves, for their companies, and take the next step, right? Um, and then part of what you were talking about uh, is an offering to the inner circle members, and want to just give them a little taste of that and what the potential is with that. So,
So let's talk about that quote and I'll tie it into it.
all right.
Opportunity lurks when responsibility has been abdicated. The most talented, competent, valuable people in an organization, the human capital, they will complement our weaknesses. They will pick up the load when we have lightened it. They will overcompensate. That's part of why they're so valuable. They're so great. They're so value add. They're an asset on the balance sheet, but they may not say anything. And we may not figure out that they're picking up the load because we have our own conflicts, our own fires, our own incoming arrows and things to respond to in leadership, in ownership. The offering you're talking about is the CEO manual. It's the journey from the founder to the CEO. This is questions. This is content. This is an explanation that the goal is to increase the awareness, to lower the blind spots, to increase communication and the speed of trust. Because as we grow, the organization, as the organization grows,
Mm-hmm.
there, like that quote says, opportunity lurks where responsibility has been abdicated. The most talented, competent, value add people will pick up that sofa as we're moving, and for the person in position of authority, it might get a bit lighter and it may get a bit heavier for their most capable people. But what if they don't say anything?
Mm-hmm.
Eventually their back is going to break. Eventually they're going to be get arthritis. Eventually there's going to be a slowdown in the culture, in the speed of trust. And the founder to CEO process, the CEO manual, the goal is to increase that awareness around leadership and increase the speed of trust by lowering the blind spots, by um, empowering leadership to create those conversations and make them constructive versus let's say reactive and deconstructive. So I'd like to start there. Maybe that'll be helpful. I love the quote. That's perfect way
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, because I think that's when you look at things, who this is meant for, right? The target, what we've heard from our group, right? There's some people that are, that have been with TCS for quite a while. It's like, okay, what's the next level? Like, how do I, we hear I need to work in on, the company, those kinds of things. There's questions that people need, and I think there's clarity that they're wanting, whether they've been with TCS for years or whether they're just starting. And this is kind of well, not kind of, this is that bridge to figure it out. You're talking about, how do I take more responsibility? Um, how do I take accountability for what's going on inside of my company? But also, how do I do that for other people? And, getting clarity around some of these things like this, this is what this manual's uh, doing for people. And it's, I don't think it's meant for everybody, but I would say the vast majority of the people we run into in the TCS circle, This is very opportunistic that this is this is out there, and they would have the ability to walk through that and understand where they're at and get a better story around their journey.
How about this? The people in leadership are often unsure how to find the right people. But what about how to behave, plan, and execute to attract them? Oftentimes, we're the highest level in the organization. Who's holding us accountable? The answer is absolutely no one. And the communication channels between those that are working inside of the organization and those that consider themselves on top of the organization, they break down as an organization grows. And so the goal of the CEO manual is to increase that communication so we can attract more capable, competent people, and we can engage in the necessary conversations to either elevate or exit those that are not we're not serving by having them participate in our business. Like we're letting them down by not being able to ultimately hold them accountable. And so a big piece of where I believe where I like to focus specifically, and that the goal is through this process is the distinction. We talked about this a little bit on the stage between responsibility and accountability.
Mm-hmm.
Responsibility being modeled, people witness it. They witness how we work, they witness how we interact with others. Accountability being given or taken, spoken or through force. So, for example, if our people are afraid to tell us what they think, how can they hold us accountable? See, it's often backwards. It's like we want to hold our people accountable, but how do they hold us accountable? That's the CEO manual is meant to be an accountability piece to increase the likelihood of the reader to be more responsible so their people can be more accountable.
Yeah, I think when I go through this, Jay, obviously I wouldn't be talking about it if I didn't know about it, right?
Yeah, and I'm going
Uh,
through it too. I'm going
so
through it too.
yeah, I have it here, but I mean, one of the things that to boil it down for people, because I see so many of the folks in the inner circle struggling with this as myself too, right? Uh, but boiling it down, like if you're that kind of person that we need to get ahead of the natural symptoms that come from being a founder, and help us figure out the next steps, the next paths that we're going to take. So at the end of the day, with this in this process, that you'll be able to take people through is really to get it up, not an emotional decision, because that's what a lot of people do, whether they go to sell their company, whether they want to hire a CEO, whether they are trying to get out of that sales role, whatever that might be. But at the end of the day, not to make that emotional decision, but to come to a practical, logical decision. And I said this to you before with this manual, Jay. It's like, okay, this is going to help us not constantly stay stuck in uh, I don't know whether to call it founder purgatory or founder CEO purgatory. Yeah, it helps us get out. Helps us. You're asking folks the right questions to get us unstuck, so that we can do those things. So we can build better cultures, um, take on different roles inside of our company if need be, and just figure things out, but not do it irrationally.
Yeah, and it might be helpful to read the first page. What do you think?
Yeah, or at least give just a synopsis of that. Yeah, because I mean, that is,
I'll just read the first paragraph.
yeah,
What is a founder? A founder is one who starts a business. What is a CEO? A chief executive officer maintains, runs, and grows a founded business. Are the founder and CEO different people? Often they are, but they do not have to be. Consequently, some of the most prominent, well known, awe inspiring, and profitable organizations in the world have kept their founder intact, in control of their vision, protecting their culture, and evolving into the most powerful within not only their industries, but many industries tied to that founder's wealth and their families. If the idea of the business you created being yours for the long term matters to you, keep reading. If family legacy matters to you, keep reading. If protection from outside forces, be it capital, counsel, or the like, is of interest to you and your partners, then the CEO manual is for you. The purpose of this process, which is not just someone investing in it and going through it alone, although that is hugely valuable because I've been doing it for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not part of this just because I made these questions after many years of study and experience. And no. I'm in it too. But the value isn't just that. It's we are going to be working together with you, whoever you are watching this, hands on through this process to ultimately get to whatever outcome that is personal to you. And that could be building an empire far beyond anything you've ever imagined. It could be moving on to something else, but doing that in the most productive, meaningful way where you and your family benefit at the highest. It could be ultimately it could be anything. Um that's what this is about.
Okay. So, what's the next steps here, Jay?
What I'd like to do is what I'd like to do is figure out a way to go through some of the questions in the coming weeks to really give and inspire people to act. Um,
But what if they're
so,
interested right now? I know, some
oh,
people
they should
talk to me.
contact. I think they should contact you,
Okay.
and then we would jump on a call with them and ask questions and listen and try to understand what exactly is behind that to see if
See if it's a
the
right fit.
process actually is like the right time or would be in the highest and best use of their capital, because ultimately any business, we have a limited amount of capital or access to capital, right?
Mhm.
And so figuring out what to do with that capital, not just money, but credit and also time, is
Mhm.
key. So when I approach anything, I want to figure out, is this something that makes sense right now? And to do that, we'd have to ask questions. So I would say the next step would be to have a conversation with the three of us, like
Okay, so
whoever, the two of us and whoever else.
right. So
Yeah.
if I
So
is
reach
that
out.
yeah, so if that interests you folks, get in touch with me, and I'll get a call scheduled with Jay, and we'll sit down and talk. But this is pretty powerful stuff, Jay, and it's very timely. I think that's why it spoke to so many people, uh, other than you sharing your story as well.
Thanks.
But this is, yeah, I can attest that this is packed with good stuff that does get you thinking. Have been working through it too for a while, and I'm like, okay, yeah, there's just some things I need to figure out as well. Just good questions, thought
Has
provoking
it been
questions.
difficult? Has it been difficult to go on your own outside of the conversations that we've been having together around it?
Well, yeah, I mean, I would rather go through it with someone, because I just, by the time I get the pen halfway through something, like I've got like 800 other thoughts. Okay. But, some of that's me, but I do believe that this is very timely for a lot of people. I mean, even outside the inner circle. I mean, I had a gentleman the other day, one of my clients, Jay, that I could have just said, hey, look,
Wow.
we I got this thing. I didn't do that, but I think just my point is it's very timely. Uh,
You know what? In that spirit of that, I think for clarity's sake, right now, this is only available for the inner circle. Truly, the people that have been the members that have invested into the culture.
Mhm.
In my mind, this is, they they've earned through hard work and labor and intensity and investment and energy and care a conversation around this first. If there's a line at Disney World, whoever skips the line gets on that ride first. That's culture to me, or a component of it. That's one. Number two, for clarity's sake, the manual is a 121-page book of questions and definitions and let's say an insight into a deeper look at yourself as a business person, but it's not you on your own on an island. We're going to be working together with you. It is hands on. There's time together physically, flying to you, as well as time on Zoom with regularity. So it's not just something someone's going to do on their own. If they want to do something on their own, they can invest in Eric's book and or I believe give me the title on that again. It's Love something.
The Life of Victory.
The Life of Victory. Yeah, you could do that on your own and get and grow in awareness. That's the value of having a book. You can invest in 30 Days of Thought and go through that as well. And those two books, you know, you could do on your own. But this process is where you're with us together, and it's for the inner circle, and open to everyone, but ultimately those that have really been involved for a long period of time. I would say that, this is me saying, hey, with respect, like raise your hand, because
Yeah.
you will be taken, more seriously in that sense, from a reciprocity standpoint.
Hmm.
But anyone that has interest to reach out to you, and then we'll get together on a Zoom to ask questions and really very personalized, right?
Hmm.
It's got that very personalized touch to it. Although the questions anyone could relate to, because many thousands of hours have been put into figuring out what order they should be in to increase awareness and reflection, so that the reader is more responsible through that process, because the book is accountability and the process is accountability, versus the marketplace being accountability. When all these problems are growing in the business and all of a sudden things are starting to feel like they're slipping through our cracks because we weren't prepared, we weren't aware, we didn't plan, we didn't know what we didn't know. This process is about helping us realize helping us clarify what we know we don't know, so we could become more, so we could get closer to what we don't know. And that's where that personal touch comes in.
Hmm. Yeah. So good. Well, I think we'll end it on that, Jay. If you want more information, reach out to me. I'll get on Jay's schedule and schedule that out for you guys. But we walked away from Denver. I mean, the whole piece was own it. I mean, this is very uh very timely, right? This is a way
Yeah, I
to
think
own that process.
if someone's not interested in owning it, and like they'd like problems in their business to grow, as Caleb had mentioned, conflict delayed is conflict multiplied.
Right.
If they'd prefer not having honest conversations with their people, if they'd prefer not feeling in control of the future of their business, if they'd prefer anxiety and stress and resentment, I'd recommend not even calling you or reaching out. And I mean that quite
Right.
seriously.
I
Charlie
know.
Munger says, invert, always invert. This is not for someone who enjoys uh, interpersonal conflicts that lead to resentment and self-loathing. This is not for someone that enjoys the constant rat race, or like up and down, up and down, and up and down with their business. This is not for someone who is just working to work. This is for someone that is working with a deep sense of purpose and meaning. This is someone that enjoys team meetings, meaning they actually want to enjoy their team meetings. This is someone that wants to enjoys the idea of labor and building something special. This is for someone that enjoys learning and becoming a stronger version of a business person. This is someone that doesn't want to just hear themselves talk, but wants people to admire them for how they act every day at work. This is for someone like that. It's not for someone that wants the easy route. This is not a 6 weeks to X amount. It's more of like pain and suffering this way. So you're not having pain and suffering at the bank, or trying to get credit when it's too late, or looking for that investor or that partner when you need them the most. Like, this is about getting ahead of the curve,
Hmm.
not reacting to it. So it's definitely not for anyone that's like going to go, and I would recommend against it, like, you know, go get a giant credit card line just to like do the CEO manual process. You likely should just hire a therapist or something, and figure some stuff out. Like, don't put your business at stake just to get more self-aware and educated. This is for someone that's already winning, that feels uneasy, like they could lose it all,
Hmm.
like because they're not sure even what questions to ask.
Right.
They're not sure. And they're but they can feel that something's wrong and they'd easily like suppress it. And everyone could easily look at them and say, oh, that person's killing it. That person's amazing. That they're surrounded by people that clap and nod and are excited for them that have no idea what's really going on. And what's really going on when we're at the highest in authority is pressure. This is for someone that wants to lower the pressure and increase the aperture and see more, farther, and have an advantage versus their competition. So that's my opposite and right.
All right. Very good, Jay. Well, if you're interested, reach out to me. We'll get that call scheduled with Jay, answer your questions, whatever you might have. But thanks, Jay. Thanks
Thank you.
for going through with this with us a little bit. Maybe we can do some more and put some more
I'd love
goodwill
that.
out in our wonderful community. So again, Inner Circle, if you have questions, get in touch with me and we'll get that call scheduled. Thanks, Jay.
Thank you.